Data gained by testimonials is the opposite of the scientific method. That is something that is very clear and known. So when somebody wants to come around and tell you that they know what the Prophet said word for word or verbatim because they have this thing called the science of hadith, know that they're lying, because the whole science is based upon testimonials. And it's not the first person account, nor is it the second, nor is it the third. Well, sometimes it's the third. Most of the time it's the fourth or even fifth person in the chain, as they call it. And they're so proud of this chain, as if the last person on the chain knows exactly how the chain went, because I guess they're all infallible, that they cannot make mistakes. But this is not even where the ridiculousness starts with these books, that God did not authorize or the Prophet authorized for them to be written down. In fact, in their own narration, it shows the opposite, that the Prophet didn't want anybody to write down other than the Quran. But I just want to show you some of the ridiculousness that they say when it comes down to these books. And then you could see how there is no science behind it. So there's this thing called Sahih al-Bukhari, which is their main book for hadith. Sahih means it's authentic. So every hadith or every narration in this book they could trace back to the Prophet through their chain of people who narrated. But remember, the last person doesn't know the second person in the chain, because the second person didn't exist when that person was existing. So there's a few problems with generations at this point, but that's fine. Let's just take the word, trust me, bro. And I just want to point out two people on this list of all these books that they've written and said that they have words that the Prophet allegedly said. I want to focus on Sahih al-Bukhari, which is the authentic one. And then we have Musnad Ahmad, which was written by a man called Imam Ahmad, right? So this gentleman here, apparently he memorized 1 million hadith. So that's 1 million hadith stuck in his head, memorized, because he went through his life memorizing these sayings. But it's not only the hadith that he memorized, he also memorized the chain. So it's now in his mind, he has about 3 million names attached to 1 million hadith, and he knew it all, and he could not forget, of course, because he's infallible. This is the only time in history somebody was able to achieve such a feat of memorizing 1 million things and memorizing the exact source of who said what to who said what to who said what. But that's fine. That's not even where the ridiculousness starts. But we can even see how many that Bukhari memorized, and they say it's about 600,000. Other people say it's 300,000. We can take the lower just to make this even less ridiculous. But let's go with 300,000 for Bukhari, and these are the person who gave you the best book. And then the other gentleman said, we said 1 million. And now let's see how much in Bukhari's book, how many reports he recorded. So from the 300,000, he only recorded 7,563, because that's what he believed would be correct. And these are the right ones, and these are the authentic ones, and these are all correct, right? And then as per Ahmad, he has 40,000 in his Musnad Ahmad, and Bukhari has about 7,000. So Bukhari only gave you 2.5% of what's in his brain. The rest he just put it in the garbage. It's not for you to know. It's not important because it's all lies. There's no point to it. And only 2%, 2.5% was recorded for you. So I don't know how that makes you feel inside about these books that they've written. But, we have the person as well who memorized 1 million, and he chose only to give you 4%. So what about the other 96%? So when you see the ridiculousness of what they're saying as a science, that they needed to go through 96% of BS, like complete lies and fabrications that they associated as fabrication and lies, and how much people were lying, saying Prophet said this, Prophet said that, Prophet said this. Only 4% made it through. So if you're thinking that there's a science behind it, the science is catch the liar. And it seems like the majority of them are liars. So trying to trust these sources as truth, it's very hard. But this is not it. This is just the sheer numbers. And remember, they had to memorize, this guy narrated, this guy narrated, this guy narrated, this guy narrated that the Prophet said. So I don't know how the last person in the chain knew what the second person was saying. But But that's how people work, everyday operations. When someone comes, tells me something, be like, hey, who told you? Oh, and who told him? And who told him? Oh, okay, now I understand. Because I don't think the world worked that way, but they would like to pretend it did. But I do have